Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to another What's Up Wednesday. Yes. And happy March 1st. OMG, the year is flying. Howdy, my name is Scott. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're joining us for the first time, please let us know. Type in NEW. We've got folks from all over the world watching this program on the live and the rebroadcast. And it's just an honor to have you here, whether you're watching live or on the rebroadcast. We got a big show for you tonight. We've been working on this for many, many months. We've got one of the big guys from Roadtrek, the Canadian van builder, joining us live here in just a few minutes. He's going to take questions. I've got some questions for him, and that's what this is all about. Q&A, the community discussion, and helping you be a better camper van traveler where you're still researching. That'd be no time in a van, maybe renting one, or taking cool trips of days, weeks, or months, or even a full-time traveler like myself. Just finished my 4th year of full-time travel in my camper van, which is behind me. That is not a virtual screen. We got a big program for tonight. We got Len from Roadtrek coming in here in just a few minutes. We got Libation live. I'm kind of taking it down a notch because I'm in a gas station parking lot. So we're doing Coors tonight. And we got a Hank Williams song that has a little bit of a story to it. We're, for the 3rd week in a row, we're simulcasting on LinkedIn. So we're kind of experimenting with this. So if you're coming in from LinkedIn, we do see a little icon change, but let us know if you're watching from LinkedIn on the broadcast live or on the replay. Actually not sure how that works on LinkedIn on the replay, but it's just a delay. We have a big group in here already tonight. Let me just kind of run you through what we're doing tonight. Some of the housekeeping, let you know where we're coming at you from. Here we go. And oh no, my thing is frozen. Please hold. There we go. Libation Live Coors. So this is our jingle jar, and what the purpose of this is to give you a chance to make a donation to the program. It's largely to fund the Libation Live, and when you do, you get your a jingle in the jar, and you get your question elevated. So feel free to do that if you find value in our content. Don't feel obligated, but I sure do appreciate it. And if you press the, I'll zoom in here for you, the $ next to the chat field, that shows you your options. So again, do that only if you feel you're having some fun tonight. But wait, there's more. And this came from a viewer here. This is Roads of Life. He has a YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed to that, go to Roads of Life. And what they suggest here is that every time there is a jingle in the jar, that everybody has to drink. So I'm not opening mine up quite yet because we got some business to conduct first. But the more jingles we get, the more people have to drink and the more fun we probably have, right? It's pretty crazy. But really, it's about your questions. And this is the question format we ask you to use, which is 3 stars followed by 3 question marks, and then your question. That helps me find it more readily. And like I said, we got Roadtrek in the house tonight, so this is a big deal. And he's got some really cool stuff to share with you. Where am I coming at you from? Always like to talk about that. This was the view out my sliding patio door. That's a real horse, not a unicorn. And that was a pond. Unfortunately, the cellular signal was so bad I had to move. This is my current view. I'm in a gas station parking lot. Where I can tell you, Verizon is smoking hot right here, which is great. So I'm coming out from this little tiny town, Vinton. Let me zoom in here for you. Vinton, Louisiana. That big squiggly line by the red arrow, that's the Texas-Louisiana border. And there's a good chance I'm going to cross into Texas tonight. We'll see. I'm not sure I'm going to go back to my harvest host because I don't want to disturb them when the show ends. Anyway, let's talk about the weather. We have summer weather here in Louisiana, and in Texas already getting in the I can't believe it, 90s already. But the rest of the nation, including Canada, where Roadtrek's coming at you from, it's pretty wintry, which is February, March. It's supposed to be winter. Gas prices, where I'm at, it's kind of a big spread, 44 cents. I just paid $2.99 earlier today. And if you want to buy some property here, and you're actually getting acreage along with a structure, from what I'm seeing as I drive around here, reasonably priced, you know, $200,000 to $400,000 to get a piece of property is pretty cool. And I'm really excited about this. We last week had a person from Thailand watching the program. So this is the Thai flag. Let me zoom in here for you. It's a kingdom, right? They have a king and a queen, I guess, right? Pretty cool. let's just say hi to a few folks. We always like to do that. And then we want to get Ken in here as soon as possible. So let's just say hi to a few regulars. And if you're, again, new to the program, we want to have you type in NEW so we can give you a shout out and welcome you to the program on screen. So we got New York Ron in the house. Always great to see you. Here's Rich. There's Bill and Joe. Thank you for joining us. I will not be in the Ocala show because I'm in Texas tomorrow. So that's a long way. Thank you for using the question format. Here's John. We're in Orlando, 80 degrees, gas 315, going to Disney tomorrow. Pray for us. Yes, with the Disney lines, right? For sure. And Bill and Joe, I'm going to ask you to ask this question again when we get Len in here. Len, you might want to make a note of that. We'll address that right away. Jane and Roger in the house. It's winter up north, right? We got Justin in the house, Mud Pie, a lot of regulars. This is so great. Columbus, Ohio's in the house. Mike, good to see you. Giles, good to see you. Montreal, Len, your neighbor down the street. That's pretty cool. Van Liberty's in the house. Lots and lots of folks. I'm going to miss a bunch of you because I really want to get Len in here. So let's just say thank you for everybody that's joining tonight. We have a big crowd. And if you're new, be sure and type in NEW, and I'll try and call you out specifically. Van events, I want to call attention to this. This is our Van Berea camp out in Lookin block. That's not this weekend, but next weekend. That's why I'm going to be in Texas. And I am so excited. We got people chomping at the bit to get to Lookin block. We're doing all kinds of fun things. We're going to do more of these. And that one's produced by me. This one's produced by somebody else. This is the Weird Wild West. It's at the end of April. It's in Bisbee, Arizona. You're like, where in the world is Bisbee? Yeah, I didn't know either. It's about 90 minutes south of Tucson, about 3 hours west of El Paso, 3 hours south of Phoenix. So it is going to be such a fun time. I'm doing my urban van camping workshop, and the Russos are coming, and storytellers involved. So it's going to be a great, great time. Please join us. This is their website here. Let me zoom in here so you can see it. And just a couple more pieces of business. Then I'm going to bring Len on. So jot that down, weirdwildwest.net. And what makes it cool for me is it's in a small town. This is not in a field. We're actually in a downtown, small town environment. So I am super juiced for this event. The YouTube video I'm posting this weekend, many of you have been asking about this since our Wingham series started back in January. Wingham is the Italian micro RV imported from Italy. And this video, you're going to see me driving it, giving my impressions of it, parking it, and OMG, wait till you see this realtor that was completely spontaneous and get her reaction on the Wingham. She about blew a cork. It was so funny. She did a great job. So join us for that premiere this Sunday at 5:40 p.m. Central Time. All right, with that, I think the next thing is we want to, bring Len into the conversation. Len, let me unmute you, sir. And here he is, Len from Roadtrek. Good to have you on the show, sir.
Hey, thanks, Scott, for having Roadtrek on the program tonight. We appreciate it, and certainly thanks to all your viewers for checking in with us tonight.
Oh, I am just so delighted that you skipped dinner to be with us. It's 7 p.m. where you are. Remind me, what part of Canada are you in?
I'm in southern Ontario, a city called Cambridge, Ontario. We're about an hour and a bit drive from Toronto.
Okay. Toronto's a great town. I have not yet been in my van in Canada. It's on my list. I'm hoping this year I can make it happen. COVID kind of got in our way a little bit, right? But just a delight to have you here. And maybe, Len, just give us a quick introduction of yourself a little bit. Have you been in the RV business for more than 10 minutes?
I've passed the 10 minutes a few times over. This is, I think, my 34th year in the industry. I've done manufacturing, sales, marketing for various RV manufacturers, dating back to even a company called Glendale, which was Canada's oldest and largest builder of RVs.
Wow.
And a little bit of time with some of the U.S. companies, but Roadtrek's home.
That is so great to have you. And I think your official title is head of sales. So that for all North America, I'm guessing?
Head of sales, customer care, marketing. I got a busy day.
You got a few hats on the So what we want to do, ladies and gentlemen, is get your questions coming in. Again, if you can help us with the format, this is, again, what it looks like. I've got a few things that Len and I want to talk about. So, again, this is the 3 stars, 3 question marks. If you can help us with that, that will greatly expedite me seeing your question to get Len on it. So Roadtrek is really a storied brand in the van space, the RV space. Maybe Len, just take a minute and kind of tell us a little bit about that origin story.
Yeah, kind of how your screen is showing there. Jack Hannemeyer, I mean, he sort of developed that van platform many years ago, 1974. As the years passed by, the product evolved into, well, you're showing that fiberglass cap that was put onto that Dodge, back in about 1980. His son got very involved in the business, and over the years it's just continued to evolve. The product has had a lot of technological advances, pioneering in lithium battery technology, obviously styling on interiors. I mean, the guy who designed the Corvette helped to design the 210 Roadtrek, which many of your viewers will recall from the past is a truly legendary Class B on the Chevy platform. I think many people will also appreciate that Roadtrek is clearly the iconic brand in Class Bs. Even today, when you think Class B, you do think Roadtrek, and definitely history comes into play there. So
yeah, it's so true. And every time you see a Roadtrek going down the road, you know it's a Roadtrek. You got to start with windows, right? But now they're kind of like images to look like.
Basically, at one point they had the acrylic windows on some of those fiberglass caps. The vans that didn't have that styling still got the vinyl windows across the front. So when you're going down the freeway, be sure to wave to your fellow road trekkers if you see those three windows above the windshield.
I wave at every van. Sometimes I goof up, and it's an Amazon van. I'm like, oh well. Yeah, they're driving a van. What can I say? So we wanted to talk about this because Rapido is now the owner of Roadtrek 2019, and it's a French family owned. Maybe just tell us a little bit about that, and we want to talk about kind of what the future looks like. There's a big number coming up, but tell us a little bit about Rapido.
Yeah, Rapido is they have a very prominent position in the European market. Class B motorhomes is the backbone of that company. In fact, they have 11 operations in Europe. One of their very popular brands is, which many North Americans might relate back to the 60s and 70s, is especially the West Coast and even the Woodstock era, is the Westfalia product. And those vans, we've seen them in posters and so on and so forth. So that's legendary in Europe, legendary certainly in North America. And we're welcome to have Rapido inside the Roadtrek facility. And, obviously it's their plant. Westfalia will be part of what we do here in the very near future. So our designers are working on that product right now, and we're looking for a launch in the not too distant future. So that's exciting. Yeah, for sure.
And including that, so we'll talk about the influence here in just a second, because I see some questions coming up about that. And people are excited about it so 50th anniversary next year. So big plans. Maybe part of that is the European influence you talked about with Westfalia. But I mean, that is really a storied number. 50 of anything is a lot.
Yeah.
Years.
The 50th anniversary, certainly it's that association with Roadtrek going right back to Jack and all of the days since then. And as we celebrate a 50th, we've got to do something. So we're going to have a special product for next year. We're excited about it, and it'll be a great celebration throughout the year for us all, for sure.
Yeah, we're you'll have a tiger by the tail. Westfalia is so storied in the van community. I did one video tour of a Westfalia van. The guy kind of decked out, and it's probably one of my top 20 performing videos. And he had a cool rig, and they're just so cool to look at. And every time I see one, they're cool people in them too.
Right? Oh yeah, they're cool, and many of them were back in that era of the the surfers on the West Coast and the Woodstock era. We just got to figure out a way how to get those Chevy owners that have been hanging on to those Roadtreks for 20 years. How do we get them back? Hopefully we'll get them in the 50th anniversary.
Well, that's a good way to say it. So we got a few questions and some new folks. So let's just say hi to Robert. This, I'm guessing, is fairly new. How do you develop YouTube skills, Robert? That is a discussion all in of itself. I think this channel is 5 years old now. We're just about to cross 32,000, 5.5 million views. I would like it to kind of focus on Roadtrek tonight. So if you have something around that particular, if you want to shoot me an email, go small, live large at gmail.com. I'll try to help you there. But that's a very different conversation we probably want to have tonight. But I do appreciate you asking that question. Watching YouTube videos is not a bad idea. That's how I kind of learned. Kara's new to the program. So Kara, thank you for saying hi. And this is kind of interesting question that Kara has. Len, why are the freshwater tanks so small? Our sailboat has 56 gallons. It's kind of a real estate thing in a van, right? But you guys, Roadtrek actually has a pretty good size water.
Yeah, Roadtrek is actually really, it's kind of one of our flagship features. In many of our models, we have up to 37 gallons of fresh water. We utilize dead space in the interior to create an extra 17 gallons of fresh water. You don't even know it's there. It's hidden by the structure of the vehicle, but otherwise it would be considered wasted space. We have additional fresh water underneath the chassis. But what's critical in a Class B, you've got to be careful of the overall weight so that you can leave carrying capacity for personal belongings in that. I'm not so sure in the marine industry, what that ratio is of a finished boat to when's it going to sink type thing. But I do know in the vans, we want to be careful to keep the tail off the ground.
For sure.
And keep in mind those bulky freshwater tanks. If you don't get them underneath the vehicle, rest assured they are taking up valuable storage space underneath beds, unless you do it the way Roadtrek does it and hide it in wasted space.
Which is a great way to do it. And water is really heavy. I can't remember how many pounds per gallon of a gallon of water weighs, but it's significant. You almost have to kind of balance the van so it doesn't, tip. So we got some new folks here. So Diane, thank you for this. Mike, I see your question here. Lenny's got a question here. He's got a 2021 Roadtrek shop trying to get some battery work done. Not able to connect to resets. 4 weeks now. Is this a common issue? What would cause this? You guys probably have a customer reach out.
Customer anytime they can get a hold of customer care at roadtrek.com, retail support at roadtrek.com. For sure. And there can be a multitude of reasons that a battery won't reset. I think that one would be best. Your specific circumstance, like any of the technology concerns, is get a hold of our customer care or dealer and let them troubleshoot the individual problem and get you on the road.
Well said.
Also, one thing I do want to mention, especially in the winter season, I'm not quite sure where you were calling from there, but in the cold weather, that sometimes the battery won't reset until the heater inside our lithium modules warms the battery up enough to function properly. So sometimes that may be all it takes.
Which is typical of really all lithium systems, including my Volta system, which is the green lights right there. If they get cold, they're like people. They don't want to get too hot. They don't want to get too cold. They like to be cozy.
Gotta warm them.
See, Robert's got a question here. A year from full-time van life. So do you recommend a home base or just a van house? I would probably, this is not so much a Roadtrek, although you might have a thought on this, Len, but I would probably find some place or family member to call home base. I think going back even for, I do it the holidays, Christmas, New Year's, then I go off to the Super Show, and then I'm off again like I am now. But just a couple weeks to kind of reset, see the family, let them know you're alive, if you're still as crazy as ever, I think is probably good for you. I think there's less chance of a burnout if you're someplace to go even every few months. So I'm not sure I'd want to personally own a house anymore, but having a home base or bases, friends and family across the country where you can stay for a few days or even a week just to decompress from the road. Because, and Len, I'm sure you've heard this in the industry, decision fatigue. It just, all these tiny little decisions you got to make every day, like me leaving my Harvest Hose site to get in the gas station so I get some cellular. That's a lot of stress. It seems crazy. But that's what I would kind of answer for you there, Robert. Len, any thoughts from being an industry veteran?
I would say what we've seen a lot of in the last few years. In fact, part of what we named our new pivot model about is a lot of people who just suddenly they're dropping this day-to-day stress life, whatever they've got, and they're saying, that's it. It's time for a pivot. And they paint that picture in a way they're ready to go. But always be sure that you prioritize what you're really going to do when you take that van, and look for the features that are going to be most important. If it's full-time life, you're probably going to want some adequate storage. You want extremely comfortable bedding. I mean, it's your home now. Great size refrigerator, things like that. So plan that out, not just the van, but what's the lifestyle and what do I got to make sure that van's got to make my home away from home everything you need.
Yeah, it's so important. We talk on this channel a lot about why. It's kind of easy to go buy a van. I mean, once you've done some research, but until you really can identify, I think, 3 to 5 reasons why you want to travel in a van, then I think you need to do some homework. A lot of people run out and buy floor plans and systems first, but those 2 things, floor plans and systems, should address your why. Lithium systems is just a great example of that. I want unbridled freedom and making no noise, parking on a city street. Why? Because I want an urban camp. That's how it rolls for me. So great answer, Len. Ooh, got some good questions tonight. This one's from Kathy. Where do you store your outside chairs, folding chairs? So you guys have a lot of garage storage. We're going to talk about the pivot here in just a second. We're going to pivot to that. But Roadtrek has a lot of garage storage in your floor plans already. Is that right?
Yeah, it all depends on which model you're buying. And when it comes to the camp chairs, the folding chairs, often they can be, folded up between that aisle space at the back of the van when you're traveling. A lot of people will do the folding style camp chairs so they can slip under the sofa beds or, places like that. Or even for some people when they're traveling, they'll put them inside the shower area.
Yeah, there's lots of little places, nooks and crannies. And when we show you the pivot, maybe we'll do that here in just a second. I saw we want to make sure everybody is properly hydrated. So Justin, we're going to scoot down to yours. Justin wants to know, why do you think there's such a delay, Len, in seeing European innovation and floor plans come to the U.S., Canada? Many great camper van floor plans exist only in Europe that aren't available over here. And we want to thank you, Justin, for the super chat. So if you're playing the Jingle Jar game, that means you got to have a drink. Len and I are doing water first.
Mm-hmm.
But any thoughts on that? You've been, again, an industry veteran for a long time, and now with the European influence,
It's a great question. And part of it is, and this is where it's an important part of what we do with Rapido and their brands in Europe, is we're not a large corporation or anything like that is fueled by the needs of the shareholders. So when I say that, often many of our brands in North America, they're doing things, they cut corners, keep things straight, keep it fast for production and efficiency. And where in Rapido's case or our factory, it's the consumer that drives what we do here for our company owners. And so it's what you tell us to do. That's really what we end up doing on production, not what our shareholders would tell us what we have to do.
Yeah, that's a great way to say it.
So you look at how we're seeing a lot of that styling in Europe. Quality is king for Rapido in Europe. Quality is the rubber stamp and what we do at Roadtrek. And all of that has to do with what our customers want is just build us a beautiful van and a lot of quality. We try.
Yeah.
And
it's just so great to have, another competitive van maker in the market that does fine. But leave it at that. You said it well. So Roads Alive has a question here. You're off to the north to Embassy. Scott, what are your future travel and van bereave plans? So my plans are to get to Texas and spend most of mid-March to mid-April in Texas, and then going over to Arizona to the Weird Wild West camp out we talked about, and then I'm headed up in through the Rockies. So this will be my first time in the van going through the Rockies of any consequence. First time in Colorado, and then I've been in Idaho and Montana. Go see my family in the eastern side of Washington State. Then probably bounce across into Montana. I have to be in Holland, Michigan for Volta in late August. So those are my plans. We'll do more campouts as we go because I just love those. We have so much fun. Um, Len, we'll have to get you in a van and a camp out when we get a little closer to your neck of the woods, because it is so mind blowing. Let's see. Farrah's got a question here, kind of related to van life. So curious how you get mail, and also how do you go to doctor's appointments while living in the van? So my mail goes to home base, where my partner is, and he monitors that. I do 98% of everything online. So there's very, very few things I actually get mailed that mean anything. Doctor's appointments, I visit my doctor in Chicago that we've had for a couple decades, once or twice a year. I'm flying in because I don't want to drive there. But I use urgent care. In fact, you'll see about my current urgent care story next week. Here's a hot tip for you, Len. When spring rolls around and you're in Canada, watch out for the fire ants. And what I do is when I visit the urgent care, I have them print stuff out. So I have a folder from my own personal health history that they can review. And that's how I do that. It's worked really well for me across the board. Let's see what we got. Let's do a pivot. We're just about at the bottom of the hour, literally. We want to talk about this because this is just such an important van. I think it's really going to change a lot of things. We were just talking about European innovation. I think this is going to be a bellwether for the industry in North America. So the pivot, I'm guessing Len was called because of the pivot wall in the bathroom. RV Press talk up about it a lot, right? This channel gave it best of show at the Florida RV Super Show in January 2023. Maybe just tell us a little bit about this. It's on the Ram ProMaster, is that right?
It's on the Ram ProMaster, and I just want to step back just for a sec on the pivot. The pivoting wall in the bathroom is purely coincidental to the name pivot. We'll take it. It's part of the package. But the idea of pivot, as I mentioned earlier, we've seen so much trend in the last few years of people just stopping in their tracks and saying, that's it. I want a new journey. I want a new destination. And their life literally pivots on the spot. They grab the van and they head out, and whether it's a bucket list or whatever their purpose is, but it's been this, I'm ready to go. And that's where the name pivot actually came from.
I love it. That's actually a better why than a bathroom wall, although it's pretty cool. And we, for those of you that have been with me in person and you've seen the lives changed, it's pretty dramatic when people get their camper van, even late in life. They get a new lease on life. They feel like they're 25 again. And let me show you this. You may or may not have seen this. So the information on the pivot is just on Roadtrek's website this week. Is that right, Len?
Yeah, that's right. We're getting very close to production now. We had a few delays. We had our prototype back in the fall. We have to tweak everything up, make sure we're conforming all of the safety standards. And of course, these days, we're still dealing, like all manufacturers in every industry, is logistics and materials, the supply chain to get the materials to get going. We're excited. And as you can see from that photograph, one, it's a beautiful photograph, but you can only get the beautiful photograph from the beautiful vehicle. Everybody can see in there that nice unobstructed view on the passenger side, clear through to the back of the van. We have that bench seating in the dinette area, and that bench seating will feature child seat restraints. So there'll be a couple of those in there. But right behind that bench seat is what we've already talked a little bit about, is that unique pivoting wall in the duo space bathroom. Yeah,
let me forward two images. You can talk about that. So these are pictures I took at the Super Show. So the left image is obviously exposing the sink and toilet. Middle is the pivot wall. Then the far right is a shower only. So maybe just talk through that again.
Yeah. So this is the one of the very classic inconveniences for many people who they want to have a shower, but what they don't like is getting the entire bathroom amenities, whether it's the mirror, the toilet, the shelving, everything all wet at the same time. So this particular design, you'll notice in the center slide there's a wall that actually pivots. On that wall is the bathroom sink and the mirror, and that will actually pivot closed to cover those shelves and the toilet stall area. So everything stays high and dry. From the slide on the right side, at least from my screen, you can see it's simply a shower stall. When you're done showering, open the wall back up and everything is dry. But while you're showering, that toilet area is as dry as the desert.
It's just the coolest thing.
Yeah.
And if you were at the Super Show, I'm sure you saw this, and it's a game changer. And I think the big thing to point out, ladies and gentlemen, is this is in a Class B van, the same size van that I have. This is not in the Echo, which is the first one to be seen, at least by my eyes, in the U.S. It was in a Class C, basically a B plus. Their Echo. I saw this back in November 2019 in a European van. So again, seeing these things trickle in is really great. And the magic is it's in a van, which is just, I'm so proud of Roadtrek for doing this.
With this particular bathroom, we'll also be doing in the pivot model is Roadtrek's first cassette toilet option. It's not an option, actually. It's standard equipment in this model, but we'll have that cassette toilet in there as well. So that's handy.
Which is kind of a love or hate thing, I suppose.
It is. It's split, but we're already, from the feedback we've got from consumers, we can see this bathroom idea evolving into some other models as whether options or standards down the road. We're really excited about it.
Yeah, I'm just so delighted. And maybe just kind of talk us through the floor plan here in case folks aren't familiar with it. Because I think this is a pretty big deal too.
Yeah, if you look, the interesting thing in the rear is that where the twin beds are, they're elevated. They're almost twice the height off the floor as you would typically see in the back of a twin bed model. But that's intentional because a lot of our buyers today are taking along a lot of outdoor recreation items that are bulky, and they will fit more comfortably between those beds because of the higher cradle that's created in the aisle space there. If you want the traditional king bed floor plan, there's actually a sort of a rail platform that slides across, and then a cushion goes in place to create the full king bed. But it's easy to slide it away and be back to a walkthrough that'll let you go right out the back of the van. And then up front, of course, is the forward-facing bench dinette seating, which is nice. It's a very social area when you're traveling. You can have a family of four or whomever up in the front cab area, so you're not, yelling to the back of the van or trying to chat over, maybe a roof air conditioning is running while you're traveling. So
right.
Smart floor plan. Very smart.
Right. It's really a lovely van. I'm looking at the screen.
This particular model is also available with a pop top. So if you've got family and you want to take the kids along, great. We put a pop top on top of it. A couple of kids can go in the second floor, and perhaps mom and dad in the back of the main floor, or vice versa, whatever works.
Yeah, the pop-up's really popular, both here and in Europe, right? It's kind of a Westfalia thing, speaking of. And I also want to remind everybody, so Roadtrek is giving me no compensation for this. I didn't ask them for anything other than their time. And we just love sharing vans to help you make better decisions. Last week, we were at Storyteller, literally in their headquarters, and we had their chief revenue officer, Andrew, next to me. Didn't charge him anything. So this is just bringing the community together to talk about van travel. How does a floor plan, a system, a brand enable your why you want to get in your van and pivot to getting into a van? So I just want to bring that up, Kent or Len, because it's important folks know I'm not getting paid for this. So with that, let's take some questions. We want to talk about your cool colors, and maybe we'll do Libation Live. I don't think we need a slide for Coors, do we? But for those of you that are new, the reason we even do Libation Live, and Len has to be good tonight because he's at the office, and I'm keeping it on the down low because I'm at the gas station. But I travel around and I find all these great tastes from the road, largely harvest host sites, so wineries, breweries, distilleries, farm products, and I want to share those with you. And that's what the whole point is of this whole thing. Is we learn together, we share together, you decide what's best for you. So we're just sharing things from the road. This one's kind of common. And the other thing that we're kind of following along on is Traveling Robert does an IPA every Friday when he does his live. So with this, we want to say cheers, Len. Thank you for joining us. He said Aquafina. And if you haven't had a Coors Banquet in the short stubby bottle in a while, it's a really different beer experience because everybody's used to the big, the long, tall bottles. And there's just something about this stubby bottle that just makes it taste better. So actually, Coors Banquet does not go into the Lookin glass because it's cool in its little bottle. Cheers, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. We got some questions. Len, you ready?
Sure.
This one's from Sparks Guy, a frequent commenter. And by the way, I have my windows open because we don't need air conditioning. So if you're hearing the noise around me, I apologize, but we are powered by volts tonight without AC. So Sparks Guy says, why is the Agile the only Roadtrek on the Sprinter chassis? Could you build that floor plan on the ProMaster 1500 high roof? If so, why not? That's your question.
Well, yeah, it's a good question. And the SS Agile, because it has been Roadtrek's most popular smaller platform for many years, we continue with it today because you have the versatility of a diesel. You also have all-wheel drive up till 22, the four-wheel drive, 4x2. And the ProMaster at Roadtrek is consuming so much of our production time at the moment for us to evolve into the longer platform, the 170, 176-inch wheelbase stuff. It's just not in the cards for us at the present time. But, and definitely the trends seem to be, if we look at the numbers in the industry, by far, the closer we can hug around that 20, 21-foot mark, it definitely seems to be popular for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, and the Roadtrek is really gaining steam by some manufacturers, which is great. It's the widest, so it's easy and it's pretty square walls, right? So it's a little easier to build inside, and you get, 4 inches inside a van means a lot. So thank you for that, Len. Let's see a couple more here. This is Van Can Do. Love that name. The pivot comes with a fan exhaust. Is it pet friendly, climate control, and does it come with a spare tire? Good question.
All of our ProMaster vans today come with the inflator kit. No spare tires, and many vehicles are that way now. Some of the premium vehicles on the road are your compressors in the trunk, lift up, and there she be. You get some almost run flat performance, far enough to get some service. And in many, many cases, most people who buy a new van these days are such. They've got some sort of roadside assistance, if not the free service that comes from Roadtrek for the first couple of years of ownership. They'll usually extend that and have that peace of mind. A lot of people, they just simply don't want to crawl under the vehicle. Let somebody else take care of that for you.
Yeah.
Especially when it's free.
And pet friendly, I just, for my being
pet friendly, yeah, certainly Roadtrek, all of our vans are more pet friendly than many. The screen package is custom made for Roadtrek by a local supplier, and we insist on the durability for those pets, doing their best not to be able to crawl through the mesh for the privacy, for the day screens and the bug screens. Secondly, a lot of our models have the power slide out wide tread steps. And for a pet getting in and out of the vehicle, it's much safer than many of the van steps that are just molded fiberglass or plastic parts in the side of the van. So I think that certainly speaks well for the pet friendly.
Yeah, and people love to travel with their pets, which I totally get. I miss my van life Luke terribly. I gotta give a shout out to Sherry Ann. They were some of my earliest van life followers. My very first Super Show meetup, it was just a humbling moment. They showed up and nobody else did, and I'll never forget them for that. They're just the most delightful people. I'm over by Cape Canaveral. So Sherry Ann and Mike, howdy. just an awesome couple. So Dan Smith, this might be a new name. Hi, Dan. Thanks for joining us tonight. Really interested in the Zion Slumber for my small family, but there is a 1,250-pound payload capacity. Is that enough for a family that weighs about 600 pounds with the dog?
Well, I think it comes down to the common sense on the packing side of the vehicle and, what you're taking along. Don't carry anything more than you have. Just practically speaking, never carry anything any longer than you have to keep that payload capacity up. Like fluids, if you don't need to be carrying a full tank of water, fill it up when you need it, and so on and so forth. Periodic dump stations, things like that. Lots of ways to smart pack when you have a limited carrying capacity in your van. Doesn't matter who the manufacturer is. Same story.
It's the same story. And it's probably the biggest lesson, I think. Again, Len, you've been in the industry for a while. Every RVer goes through is they load the thing full of stuff they think they need. And then, I have a 60-day rule. If I haven't used it and it's not seasonal, out it goes. And it's a one in, one out. So you kind of learn it the way you roll, Dan. And, 600 pounds of stuff is actually quite a bit. outside of some water and fuel.
That's right. In the community lifestyle, wherever you travel, if you're anywhere near an RV campground or anything of that nature, state park and that, odds are if there's something you need in a pinch, your neighbor's probably packing it. So who knows? Somebody will have it close enough, hopefully.
For sure. And if you are, unless you're running up into the mountains for, a couple, 3 weeks, there's a grocery store usually within 20 minutes or a half hour. So again, loading up everything you need for the entire trip kind of buy as you go is something I've learned, again, the hard way. Let's see, a couple more. This might be a little technical from Mud Pie, Len, talking about sizing. So what is the shower floor size in inches in the Chase Zion models that all have the same bathroom? Any idea what these sizes are?
Yeah, I believe we're sitting at 37 inches, and I apologize if I'm wrong, but I believe we have a 37-inch width in that bathroom.
Which is, enough to get it move yourself around.
Well, the beautiful thing about that, I mean, this customer's or person's inquiry is important, and something to know about Roadtreks is those in our, as they say, the most popular or the typical bathroom in a Roadtrek, the 2 bathroom doors on the front of the shower or bathroom area in a Roadtrek, they actually tilt open on an angle of about 20 degrees. And what that does is creates considerably more storage space, or not storage, but elbow room inside the bathroom. So it's practical when you're showering to be able to have that extra design, free space, elbow room.
Elbow room for important bathroom duties. So important, right? Let's see. This comes from Bill and Joe. Question for Roadtrek: why not build on the Ford Transit all-wheel drive? Love the all-wheel drive for beach and off-road, not 4x4, but just getting off into the gravel roads or whatever. Thoughts on Ford Transit? It's kind of the up-and-comer, and people love it.
That in itself is a great question. And to this point, Roadtrek has focused on the ProMaster platform and on that 144 Sprinter. The good news is we now have all-wheel drive in the diesel in the Sprinter. So we've got all-wheel drive check mark taken off for 23, or ticked off for 23. I think eventually, I agree. I like the Ford platform. It's got its pros, and so do the ProMaster and the Sprinter. But for now, we've got so many things on our platter for cool things coming up in ProMaster. And as they say, 2023, all-wheel drive. You've got that now in that Sprinter 144, so the SS Agile. And we talk, just because it's all-wheel drive doesn't mean it can't just be a highway driver. Sure, it's well equipped for the sand and such, but it's versatile.
It's versatile. Yeah, it's again, many floor plans, many different chassis. It just complicates everything. So I can appreciate. There's always looking over the horizon, but just staying true to form to get the best product out there for your customers. And some of the people, please.
I just want to mention that I know in one of your recent programs I was tuning in on, the mention was that the all-wheel drive, has now replaced the Sprinter. It's traditional 4x4 with the manual high-low option. For any of your viewers out there that might still be seeking that real that rugged, that traditional, they got to have the high-low shifting and all that. Roadtrek still has a handful because they're getting in short supply, almost a rarity now. We still have a handful of the 22 chassis in the 4x4 that we can build on until they're gone. They won't be around much longer, but I just wanted to throw that plug out to those that might be interested.
Really, especially on that particular chassis, it's so important. Roads of Life has a good point here. Time for a super sticker. We need to drink, so let's do this. Let's everybody drink. Thank you, Rob, for that reminder. Let's see. Deborah's got a question, Len, on. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate that. What happened to the 800 amp hour lithium option on the Roadtrek? Could I get that as an upgrade on the Pivot? Really like that new bathroom. The lithium thing is always kind of a moving target a little bit, but maybe just give your thoughts on that.
Yeah, it's a good question. Right now we are up to 600 amps of lithium. We find for the vast majority of our travelers, that 600 provides that adequate air conditioning, power for, say, air conditioning overnight, that kind of thing. Certainly the weekend getaways, all that. People who are going to plug in, of course, there's never a shortage of power there. But we're satisfied at the 600 at the moment. We are looking at different size systems. I can't say in the next 3-4 months that we will see the 800, nothing like that. But it's just a matter of how our product is evolving. We've gone from, we have an AGM option. We have 400 lithium. We're up to 600 now. And we'll grow as things go on. So it's no disrespect to 800 amp systems or anything like that out there. It's just where we're at.
Yeah, there's just so many options. It complicates things, right?
There are. And, something that is important is we use the underhood generator, or a GU, to help recharge that 600 amp system. And it's actually good for batteries to keep them active, to keep recharging them.
Yeah.
If you're not tapping into them often, that's not that good for them, that's for sure. So our underhood generator, it's whisper quiet, it's fuel efficient, it's environmentally friendly, and that helps to give a faster recharge to those lithiums as you start to deplete the power. So
yeah, it's a great point, because so 2 nights ago I street camped in Gulfport, Mississippi, such a great little town. Ran the AC overnight, depleted to about 40% from a full charge, and drove a couple hours. By the time I got to my next destination, the battery was charged in less than an hour of driving. So it's just kind of this rinse and repeat, and you just kind of learn the flow of your system. And I don't know, Len, what do you think? If this is a fair question or not? The freedom that lithium provides. What percentage would you guess people are buying lithium versus the AGMs and a generator in your product mix these days? Is it 50-50, or is it?
No, it's about 75% that is lithium. But the thing on the AGM, it's like an old gas lawnmower. You know what? You put some gas in it, you pull the cord, and it's going to work. And it's going to work every time. And if you're traveling, it doesn't matter if you go into, an RV dealer who this is his 3rd day in business, he can probably take care of an issue that came up with AGM. So for people out there, their first time owning a Class B motorhome, and they would just want to get in and go, peace of mind, reliable, hassle-free. We just want to travel in a van. An AGM battery system is a perfect consideration to start, because it's reliable.
Yeah,
it doesn't have the storage capacity that lithium systems do. At least, we're 400 amps of AGM, but those people are going away for a weekend, want to have some fun, tailgate the weekend, whatever they're doing, just have a little fun. Our Play series is perfect for those type of customers.
Speaking of those type of customers, Diane's got a question, Len. I'm not sure this is tech support or what have you, but it has a play slumber with an aux switch. The heat and air vents. We came past summer, or this past summer, it was very warm and back when our grandkids were sitting down during the drive. Any idea what Diane's referring to there?
We have 22 play slumber with an auxiliary switch. They're heat air vents. The auxiliary switch on the dash is just mute. It came with the heavy duty chassis. It serves no direct purpose. I'm assuming that's the switch they're referring to. We camped past summer, and it was very warm in back where our grandkids were sitting during the drive. Well, you know what? They can run that air conditioner while they're traveling.
Yeah,
the room air if they want while they're traveling. That should provide some of that air conditioning comfort in the back of the vehicle. So we could talk about that question with that customer offline if they want to, dig into it deeper. But I'm just curious if they've ran their air conditioner while they're traveling. I'm talking about the RV
house AC
air conditioner. Yeah.
Because even mine, the chassis AC, I'm pointing at the cab. It only is good to about literally right here. So if you're in the back and you're in the sun driving, it's like 95 degrees back there, and the AC from the chassis has no way to get back. There's like a thermal block here for some reason.
Right.
So Len's exactly right. Just run the AC. That will probably give some comfort back there. How are we doing on time? 10 minutes till. Let's. I see y'all are chatting with yourselves. This is so great. Let's do we want to talk about these colors because they're kind of cool.
Yeah.
And different in the marketplace. I'll give you a minute or a moment to think about this, and then we will do our song of the week. So I want to share the song and story with you, but and we want to talk the blogger thing. So, Ken, you guys got Len? I'm sorry, Len. You got some cool colors here.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Just for years, Roadtrek has been known as the incognito van. Perhaps we full body paint our premium series vans, have for years. So that is that skirting along the exterior, awnings, air conditioners, all of those things are painted to match the exact color of the body of the van. The reason we do that is so that when the owners are traveling, they look more like a luxury travel van and not an RV. Some people, they love an RV, but they don't necessarily like that they look like an RV. So Roadtrek has had that incognito look. It's been beneficial if you're trying to get into an HOA, a private community where they don't want RVs parking. It's helped a lot of customers. In municipalities, some of them don't want RVs in the driveways, but these vans sometimes will slip through the system. This is a sort of in complete contrast to that. This is for people who want to personalize their vehicle, have a unique identity when they travel. And any one of those color schemes there, plus there's another one not shown that has a granite body with a silver paint. They all look great, but they are very much to a particular customer's lifestyle, what they like and don't like. That mint green on the screen there with the white. We have a new willow sage decor on the interior this year, which is a very soft green on a white cabinet panel. I mean, it looks absolutely beautiful. That's a coastal, so we'd likely see that in, South Carolina, down Florida, across to California. That green one or even the blue one. That silver and white has been extremely popular everywhere that we've introduced it so far, and just the same as the granite and the white that's not on the screen today. It's actually done extremely well, and it was just hey, what else can we do? So
Give it a shot.
Give it a shot. It's been extremely well
Received. And I don't think these pictures do justice. I mean, you see it in person, it's really, it shows, but it's subtle. And it's really quite lovely. And it's a nice job for trying something different.
There's that. I don't know whether you got it on the screen there, but there's that silver one, silver and white. I mean, it just looks.
There you go.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, the silver and white's really, really awesome. So a couple more questions. Now we got some, let's see. Len, can you address, we got a couple on the same topic here. Insulation specs, how well insulated is a Roadtrek, and can you consider it 3-season or 4-season? What are your thoughts?
Well, even if somebody calls a van a 4-season RV, I'm going to take my 34 years of experience in this business and stick it on the wall on this one. And that is that winterized or not, common sense must prevail. It's that first time you forget the common sense that your so-called 4-season RV is going to come back to bite in the tail. We're confident to call our RVs 3-season. It's this simple. On the water system, drain it. Winterize it. When you get to where you're going, if you're driving from the north to the south for the wintertime, drain it, do the normal winterizing. When you get to where you're going, top it up. One thing I can assure you, if you use common sense and you take the safety precautions of winterizing, you're never going to crack a tank. You're never going to split a line from freezing. And so I say, you know what? Go 3 seasons, be smart, and never have to worry about it. We've got a well-insulated van with adequate heating systems, air conditioning systems. You know what? We've got polyester woven insulation in our sidewall panels. Won't mildew, won't rot. It's acoustic insulation. It's thermal insulation. So, we're much like everybody else, wheel well insulation, whatever twists and names people want to call the stuff out there. But insulation has much to do with the thickness that you can actually insulate. And we're all the same in the van business. We only got so much space to put the insulation, so we fill it like everybody else. But that's my take on that. So straight up, we're a 3-season RV. You can use them 4-season. Common sense prevails on the water system. I'll leave it at that.
I'll leave it at that.
Yep.
Let's see. We've got, so we'll talk about blogger community in a second, but we've got a few stickers coming in. So that means a jingle in a jar.
I like it.
So this is a time to have a sip. My coolers are getting warm. And I saw another one. We all have some good questions tonight. We might have to have Len back. Where's the other one I saw right here? Oh my gosh, we got 3 of them. Here's Michael Clark. So jingle in the jar. Thank you, Michael, for your Libation Live sip. Len's got to use the restroom here in a minute. Any plans for Roadtrek partnering with Volta for power systems, or are you?
Well, as with any supplier who has a product that they think can truly enhance what we're offering our customers, we'll sit and talk to anybody who's got something that might make sense for our customers. There's a lot of factors that go into it. One thing we know right now, when we, our focus and much has to do with the European influence by Rapido, it's quality all the way. And we've honed down our technology to be simple, reliable, whether it's lithium or AGM. It's a 3-step. We've got a 3,000 watt sine wave inverter, which does the job for airs and microwaves running together. We've got the underhood generator. We've got 600 amps of lithium. It's reliable. We use Firefly technology to control the interior features, that simple tablet style one-touch control. We are keeping it simple. We want it to be reliable and hassle-free. But if you know a product that might be a plus for what we're doing now and be obviously a benefit to our customers, we'll listen. We're
It never hurts to take a meeting and just hear. That's where a lot of this comes from, right? It's just taking it from the voice of customer and suggestions. So we got one more super sticker here. So big shout out to Audie Sanchez. Thank you for the $10 Libation Live. So drink, everybody. Audie wants to know, cheers, Scott, how much driving do you have to do to charge your batteries back to full? So I have a 190 amp second alternator, and at highway speeds doing about 2,000 RPMs. That's putting in between 5,000 and 7,000 watts into my battery. My battery is about 8,600 watts. So like yesterday when I left my street camping spot, I was down to 40% state of charge, and I drove for probably, I don't even know, 40 minutes, and the thing was filled up again. So if you have the key is, it's all a math equation problem, right, Len? It's the charging source, in this case the underhood second alternator, and how much can it put out based on the RPMs of the engine, and how much will your battery hold. So if I'm down to 10-20% state of charge, if I'm driving for an hour at highway speeds, I'm back to full state charge in most cases. And that's a normal, Lithionics makes a fine system, Mastervolt makes a fine system. They all work very similar, but, and even yours, right, Len? Very similar.
We're 280 amp output. That's 300 amp lithium module, 280 amps an hour. You're not drawing anything on it. Math, couple hours, and you're topped up. And
it's just, and the magic of that, discharge for comfort, charge it back when you get out of your street parking spot and go to the next place, and that rinse and repeat, the freedom, unbridled freedom and complete silence in an urban environment or in a winery out by yourself. Until you experience that, it's really hard to talk about the value, right?
Yeah, and that value thing, just one more thing to mention, because I'm always excited about our lithium system. It's so darn simple, and it works so well. So many campgrounds, you can't run those underslung generators and all these other systems people are dreaming up these days. What you can do, often in many cases, is you can idle your vehicle on your campground site, and that's whisper quiet. Most people know how quiet a vehicle is when it's idling. If you can idle that chassis, that's very fuel efficient, very energy efficient, no pollution to speak of, hardly, and you get that recharge rate. It's a great, simple system, so reliable.
Yeah, it's really getting it. It's just like we plug it in your phone. It's so beautiful. Len, let's have you answer this, or have you comment on this. We're gonna do our song, and then we're gonna call it a show. So we might be a few minutes late. Is that okay?
Good for me.
Okay. Well, appreciate you sticking around. It's past dinner time. So, opportunity for you to talk about this. Blogger community for Roadtrek. What are your thoughts on this and how can we help?
Yeah, and I think a lot of your viewers to the show tonight might take some interest in this. Roadtrek is now actively seeking some bloggers out there that have a common interest in the van life, um, that travel, the outdoor experience, whatever their experience is, even if it's specialized. We are seeking to get some sort of relationships going with some of those people out there to expand upon our social media presence. And so, whether you contact us through our website or sales support at roadtrek.com, we're eager to talk to a few people. I mean, these are not, these are just that very interesting social relationship experience to be part of groups or be part of the Roadtrek as we expand in the social media world. We'd be interested in partnering or talking to the right individuals. Can't cater to everybody, you know how that sort of situation goes, but the right person or couple or what have you might be sitting there saying, hey, we have something that the whole Roadtrek community might be interested in, and we just so happen to be Roadtrekkers. So don't be shy to give us your jingle, your story, and we might who knows where we'll go from there. But that's something we're doing now. Of course, we have the Facebook groups. People can Google search all kinds of van life groups, including a good handful of those Roadtrek groups. But and anytime, certainly online is roadtrek.com and so on and so forth. So we're there with Facebook, Instagram, and all of those groups. Those groups often are run by private individuals who created the awareness for their fellow RVers. And it's I always say it's one thing that you share the social experiences, but for new people to RVing with their new RV, it's a great place to get like the assistant mechanics and things as you learn your RV and how to use them. It's a great resource to become part of the van life community.
Yeah. What's a good way to get, so if somebody's interested, do you want them to reach out to me or do you want them to fill out a form on the website or how?
They can simply email us at salessupport@roadtrekinc.com and just say, you know what, we're Road Trekkers. We're involved in the whatever lifestyle or outdoor activity or whatever, and we may have some interest in participating, and we can see where things go from there. May take a little time to get back to, depending on the number of people that show their interest. But we're eager to talk and see where it goes.
That's so cool. So sales support at roadtrekinc.com.
That's it.
Got it. So let me talk about this really quick. And there's a couple more questions, and we'll call it a wrap for episode 112. So, Ken, as I alluded to, we always like to do a song of the week. Many of these come from you, or a movie of the week. Many of these come from me. This comes from me this week. And it's an old one, recognized because it's a phonograph. If anybody's less than 30 years of age, this is called a record player, which is actually kind of making a comeback, which is pretty amazing. And the song this week is Ramblin' Man by Hank Williams, Sr. And as I alluded to at the top of the hour, I spent a number of weeks in Alabama because Storyteller is headquartered there, so in Birmingham. But in Montgomery, I didn't really realize how important Hank Williams was to Montgomery and Alabama at large. He really wasn't a Texas guy or a Tennessee guy. He was an Alabama guy. And what struck me is, we'll go back to this. Well, I'll show you this. So Hank, the song Ramblin' Man, Hank Williams, he wrote it in 1951. He released it on side B in 1953, and it's considered one of his 40 greatest hits. And what makes it really special for me is, and I'm going to go back and record this. I just frankly ran out of time. I got a big posse in Texas waiting for me next weekend. This is the Hank Williams Museum. I got to visit where he had chili dogs on a regular basis. This is Chris's Hot Dogs, established in 1917. Anybody been here? They've been slinging hot dogs for over 100 years. and it feels like it from the inside. It's a real deal. This is Hank's grave and his wife Audrey at the graveyard, just literally a mile from downtown. Pretty amazing. And then I got to visit his boyhood home. I think he was from 8 to 11 years of age in this home. God, I can't remember the name of the town. Somebody probably does. Unfortunately, they were late opening the museum, so I didn't get to see inside. The whole point of this, though, is the name of the song. I was playing Ramble Man as I was going around Montgomery and doing some of this Hank Williams site. It's pretty old school country song. There's even a little yodeling in there. But if you read the words, it completely struck my chord on van life, traveling in a van. And if you haven't heard this in a while, do the karaoke mode so you can see the words, and I think it will bring a smile to your heart. And Ramble Man is what I'm definitely am these days, and it comes out in the DNA of that song. So like we talked about earlier, Len, it's a pivot, right? And this kind of stuff, just when I see, hear, and feel this stuff, it just reminds me why I do what I do and what we're sharing all about. And it just brings it all home to me. So Hank Williams, God love him. He was less than 30 years old, really. And if you go to the museum there in downtown Montgomery, you get to see the car he died in. It was pretty moving for a small museum. I was pretty moved. A couple last questions. Here's one on the pivot. Len, we want to get this one answered, then we'll call it a wrap. So get your questions in fast. We'll get the good ones. They're all good. But Taurus View wants to know, when can we expect to see the pivot on West Coast dealership lots?
60 days.
60 days. So this is March 1, everybody. Welcome to March. So March, April, May-ish.
Yep.
Fantastic. Great. Love that short, fast answer. Let me scan for a couple more.
Maybe a bit sooner. I don't like to overpromise.
Yeah, right. Here's one, fellow Canadian, I'm guessing. Kara, is the Roadtrek going to be at any RV show in the Ontario, Canada?
Absolutely. This weekend, the largest RV show in Canada is in Toronto, and it starts tomorrow through Sunday. We're there with a Ontario dealer, and absolutely, we're excited to see anybody who wants to pop in and see us. We've had shows in Western Canada. There's shows this weekend, I believe, in Montreal. There are other shows in Quebec during the month of March. So we're out there. You betcha.
Yeah. We don't want to, if you step in a Roadtrek, you know, you're stepping in something different. That's the best way I'm going to be able to say it. There's few vans I would say that about, but your product is very much like that. And again, thanks for kind of stretching the comfort zone of some of the other van makers with your pivot. I think it's going to be a home run for you. So maybe we can work and you get Scott in a pivot or some other Roadtrek product for like an overnight to talk about my experience. That'd be kind of fun. But Ken, or I keep calling you Ken. I'm sorry, Len. I know your name. Len.
No problem, Sandy. I got you.
Oh, geez. Or Steve. Everybody thinks I'm a Steve. Len, thank you so much. And thank you for the Roadtrek team for helping us put this together tonight. You guys and staying up late. And you got an RV show coming up. Holy cow. Really do appreciate it, sir. Everybody give a thumb up and a cheers for Len, L-E-N.
Hey, right on. And we appreciate, again, Scott, your time and all the viewers out there. Thanks for spending some time with us tonight. And
if we did get your question answer, we'll do our best to get the follow-up for you. But just thanks again, Len. Stay right there. And everybody, we'll see you next Wednesday. Video on Sunday on the Wingham Oasi 540 from Italy. You don't want to miss that. Until then, we say journey on and peace be with you.